Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and super chat. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys. So, this is BlackRock's ETFs for XRP are on the way, and BlackRock plans to tokenize all their ETFs soon. And if they mention within a timeline, that means they're already working on it, guys. It's not a if or uh will they, it's when, right? It's not an if or could they or they're thinking about it. It's a when, right? They're already working on it. And when will it be done? What up, Silver Days? Thanks for joining. Let's go, BTM. Thank you, sir. Smash the like and subscribe, please, and thank you. So let's turn on the spotlight and see what we can see. So this is Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a sponsor of the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. Thanks for the people that are signing up to use the BTM link in the description to sign up for Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown will be at the XRP conference in, I want to say it's the end of April. I gotta go back and check, but they will be there, and they are, I think, part of the sponsorship. I got to go back and triple check this, but I know they'll be there, and they'll definitely be helping out in the conference. But if you're looking for a crypto brokerage to help custody your crypto, or for you to hold, because you definitely need to get your XRP, maybe not all your crypto, but definitely get your XRP off the exchanges, just in case XRP goes crazy, right? And these guys hold it so you can't sell it or you can't get it off the exchange. You want to make sure it's not on the exchange before things start going crazy. And of course, um, if you self custody is your crypto, your keys, so you don't have to worry about getting locked out or getting stuck on the exchange. You can always upload it and sell it or buy it or keep holding it off the exchange just in case some weird stuff like what is that? FTX or something along that lines happens, right? You won't lose your crypto if the exchange goes down, or if the exchange is under investigation or money laundering, or it's a whole lot of weird stuff, right? Because I got some crypto on Trade Ogre that is still currently under investigation for money laundering, and that crypto's stuck. Even though they keep telling you all this and that, they don't release the crypto. So, also, Caleb Brown offers you 24/7 human support from an expert, and you get a one on one broker. So, you do talk to the same person all the time, and they do help you with your crypto journey. And it's a lot easier. So, you don't have to start over every time. You can come back to where you were, and they can help you versus having to re explain everything to every person you talk to and still to get back to where you were. So shout out to Caleb and Brown and their personal crypto brokerage, and they do self custody. You can use my link in the description. So on the bubbles, this is definitely better than last week, right? Everything is green. Well, pretty much not everything, but almost everything is green today. Looks like Canon Network is down 2.8% on the day, down 0.5 on the hour, up 0.4 on the week, and down 10.6 on the month. Casper is down 1.1 on the day, up 1.8 on the hour. down 3.9 for the week, down 20.7 for the month, down 75% on the year. SQDs down 1.8 on the day. World Mobile Token is down 1.7 on the day, 14.2 on the week, 69.7 on the year. Prime is down 3.7 on the week, 0.6 on the day, and up 0.1 on the hour. I think that's all the items that are down. So XPR is up 7.4 on the day, 1.5 on the week, down 8.2 on the month, and down 53.3 on the year. Dash is up 8.3 on the day. Hash flows up 2.9. Nero's up 4.1. Radium is down up 4.2. Injective is up 3.2. Gala's up 2.6. Algorand's up 3.3. Swarm is up 7.4. Sui's up 5.2. Cosmos Atom is up 3.3. Satoshi's is up 4.3. World Liberty Financial is up 0.8 on the day, 0.1 on the hour, down 2.9 on the week, and down 18.1 on the month. Tau, Bittender's up 5% on the day, down 0.2 on the hour, up 11.2 on the week, down 4.2 on the month, down 43.9 on the year at $186.15. And I was talking to a friend of mine over the weekend and told them to look into it. I think it got up to like $600. Let me see. Definitely got up to $5. I thought it was higher than that, but definitely from 501 to 486. You got plenty of room to grow there, guys. Solana is up 3.9 on the day, down 0.4 on the hour, up 10.3 on the week, down 15.6 on the month, and down 37.9 on the year. Zebek is up 2.6 on the day, 0.2 on the hour, 0.1 on the hour, 2.1 on the week, down 9% on the month, and down 26.6 on the year. I don't like that. I don't like it. I need to get it at least up to 50 to 60% up. Ethereum Classic is up 3.5. Link is up 2.6. Zcash is up 0.4. Avast is up 2.3. Monero's up 1.8. Filecoin's up 2.6. Powell's up 4.8. Poly Mesh is up 1.2. Stronghold's up 2.9 on the day, down 0.6 on the hour. Down 3.8 on the week, down 18.2 on the month, and down 54.7 on the year at the 005. Definitely something to keep an eye on and a good place to pick it up. Metals up 5.5. AI XBT's up 12.6. Qual's up 3.4. XVS is up 1.8. Alchemy Pay is up 2.9. Osmosis is up 2.6. Arbitron is up 4.8. Near Protocol, is up 15.6 on the day, down 0.6 on the hour, up 34.7 on the week, up 10.6 on the month, and down 59.6 on the year. Jupiter's up 0.8. XNO's up 2.6. XLM's up 1.6. AIOZ is up 1.2. Binance is up 2.5. Helium's up 1.3. ZK's up 1.6. Jupiter's up 8.6. Trump Coin's up 1.5. XLM's up 0.9. Bitcoin Cash is up 2%. Ton tokens up 1.4. Nexo's up 1.1. HBAR is up 2.2. Ordinai is up 4.1. Pith is up 4%. Flux is up 1.8. CVX is up 3%. Telecoin is up 3.7. Hyperlink is up 1.1. Quant is up 2%. Dash is up 8.8 on the day, down 0.5 on the hour, up 8.1 on the week, down 20.7 on the month, and up 38.4 on the year. Caspa is up 2.8. Lithium is up 1.1. XLM is up 1.6. I think we did World Liberty. World Liberty is up 1% today, 0.8 on the hour, down 2.6 on the week, and down 18 on the year to 10 cents. Let's go with the big boys. Bitcoin is at 68,000, up 4.1 on the day, down 0.4 on the hour, up 6.4 on the week, down 12% on the month, and down 26.7 on the year. Ethereum is up 2.3 on the day, down 3% on the hour, up 9% on the week, down 16.3 on the month, and 18.7 on the year to 2029. And our favorite payroll processor is back below Binance at 2.7 on the day, down 0.2 on the hour, up 2.6 on the week, down 12.6 on the month, and down 51% on the year to $1.40. Hang in there, guys. Don't sell cheap, right? This is when you grab your conviction and hold on tight. You don't want to go down now because you panic sold, right? That's what they want you to do. But let's go. This is a short, real quick from Crypto Zach.
It's confirmed. They can't hide it any longer. XRP and BlackRock connected. We've been talking about XRP and the connections with BlackRock for a very, very long time. And a lot of people called us crazy. We were talking about these connections when XRP was at 50 cents. Of course, we know what happened then. We did a 5X, like boom, right? 6X actually, 50 cents to $3 last year. It was insane. And things are starting to come to fruition. Securitize and Ripple are bringing crypto mainstream. This is the official Securitize account. And guess who they're backed by? They're backed by BlackRock and Morgan Stanley. And now Securitize is basically telling us behemoth BlackRock and VanEck announced plans to tokenize money market funds through Securitize. Fund holders will be able to redeem fund assets for RLUSD directly on chain. That is Ripple's stablecoin. It's time to tokenize the world. Do you understand how big of a deal this is? It's confirmed. They can't hide it any longer.
So shout out to Zach, keeping it moving. This is who is this? Multimedia, and they're talking to Larry Fink.
Answer that? I can't.
Are you in talks with the largest issuers, particularly BlackRock, to get this done?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I know BlackRock has said some things publicly. We think it makes sense for the XRP community overall.
How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. How about XRP? Can you answer that? I can't.
Are you in talks with the largest issuers, particularly BlackRock, to get this done?
So this is another little short from Crypto Sensei, and then we'll look at X and get to the numbers.
Money coming into the crypto space. The top 10 global asset leaders are BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, and alone manage more than $50 trillion. We know that BlackRock has been in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and there is a lot of rumor that BlackRock will soon be in XRP. If the customers start asking for it, they will come in. We did see Vanguard go from will never be in this crypto space until something changes to now they are coming in and offering other ETF products to their customers, and has 50 million customers. Fidelity is also right up there. 40% of financial advisors are now recommending crypto to their clients. 2% is the most common recommended allocation. 19% of advisors say more than half of their clients own some crypto. Now, when you get regulation through the Clarity Act and you already have the Genius Act for stablecoins, this number is only going to increase. It could go from 2% to 5%. Soon, I believe it'll be 10 to 20% of most portfolios. 2.9 to 5.8 trillion dollars of potential money coming into the crypto.
So as he mentioned, right, everybody's going to be owning crypto, right? These guys said crypto wouldn't catch on. Larry Fink's favors quotes, "My clients are not interested in crypto." You turn right back around. My clients are actually very interested in crypto. And now they're trying to get into crypto from what he was saying would never happen. So, like I know, right? These guys are just fudding you, trying to get you to sell, trying to get you confused, trying to create doubt so they can buy it up cheap and sell it back to their clients. So let me know what you guys think about that as well. So keeping it moving on X, this is a reminder how RLUSD XRP can help the Federal Reserve with issuing the digital dollar. Pay attention. I'm not reading all that, but this is the video. We'll go to the video real quick.
That is, people say, how can you trust, the Fed to do the bookkeeping? I mean, like I said, my response is, well, you don't expect the Fed to kind of steal your money. I mean, if the Fed can print all the money at once, it's not going to mess around with your bookkeeping. So, we have this big spreadsheet, the blockchain, if you want, but it's just managed by the Fed, and it's very cheap, much cheaper than Bitcoin, if you're willing to delegate the responsibility to a third party. But then the downsides to all of that, of course, is you'd actually, suppose you didn't want the Fed to be responsible for processing the payments. I mean, suppose, the Fed will likely impose some KYC restrictions on some purchases. They might not process some purchases that you might want to undertake. And so it was at that point that I said, well, we could, if we wanted to, extend the concept one step further. I'm not saying that this is ever going to happen, but just conceptually, you could imagine not FedWire for all, but kind of like a Fed coin, where what the Fed would do is actually just issue these, Bitcoin-like objects, but and they would enforce a par exchange rate with the U.S. dollar. That would eliminate the exchange rate volatility. But they could delegate the clearing of these payments to some third party, some sort of Ripple-like protocol, or possibly even Bitcoin. I mean, we could delegate the responsibility of processing these electronic, Fedcoin payments to the miners. And the idea there would be, because that is.
Well, that's pretty good, but they always cut the video off at the wrong time, man. Keeping it moving. This is, I guess, the rest of the video.
Thank you. I'm one of the fellows who raised his hand when you asked.
Let's see if I can go back and get the actual video clip. There we go.
David, fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
I'm one of the fellows who raised his hand when you asked who uses Ripple, Joe and myself. And I just want to say, it's very. I'm very happy to see that someone at the St. Louis Fed respects it at the very least. And I'm sure that from all the good things you said about it, many people in this room would like to hear more. But you mentioned that you foresee peer-to-peer currency agnostic payment clearing systems such as Ripple coexisting with institutions such as central banks in the United States. And my question is, how are we going to see that happen? What is it going to take?
So thank you very much. And, all the nice things I said about Ripple, everybody knows to short it. Well, how do I see it? I mean, like you said, Ripple is a currency agnostic platform. It really doesn't care too much about creating and managing its money supply, although it does have its native money supply. So you know, it's doing, the way I exposited the idea, Ripple is handling the processing of payments for many of the world's unbanked people. Okay, and that the Fed is one institution that's providing a type of currency that people could use as payment using the Ripple protocol. But there may be other currencies. There could be Bitcoin, there could be the yen. So, I mean, I see room for coexistence. I mean, I see it today. I don't see any reason to doubt why it might not continue in the future.
David, fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure how old that video is, but he's right? It didn't go anywhere, right? Once it passed the regulation, they are live. Moving forward, this is Smoke. Actually, we just saw that video. I swear it's the same video. No, I'm tripping. I'm looking at that. So this is stable coins that are backed by institutional players like BlackRock are set to surpass USDT and USDC. Remember, both Ripple, RLUSD, and BlackRock have partnered with Ondo Finance to accelerate real-world asset tokenization. RLUSD plus XRP, BlackRock via Ondo Finance is documented. For example, asset manager like Van Eck and BlackRock are actively collaborating with stablecoin projects as part of a broader tokenization strategy to support this narrative. These institution-backed stablecoins could eventually surpass existing players like Tether and USDC. I hope not. Right, got a lot at stake at Circle. So maybe that's why the Circle stock is stuck, but I'm not sure. Do you remember this? I think we just saw this. Ask Larry Fink about the XRP ETF. He answered, I can't talk about it. I think we did just see this video.
Let me ask you this. Will you do another ETF? How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right. They're giving me the rap. Thank you.
Charlie,
You're always a good sport.
It's always a be good here.
You are the best.
He called that fool Charlie? That's weird. This is BlackRock plans to tokenize all ETFs within 3 to 12 months, a significant acceleration of institutional RWA adoption. This move will bring trillions to traditional assets on chain, boosting demand for efficient, compliant settlement infrastructure. So let's see what these guys are talking about. But he did mention if they're working on it, that means something's coming, guys. It's not a work on it and we're going to dump it. If these guys are working on it, that means they have a plan for it and implementation is coming.
But the thing that really caught me was an interview with BlackRock's CFO, Martin Small, right? Not a household name, but obviously a very important person at BlackRock. And he said they plan to tokenize all of their ETFs in the next 3 to 12 months. The thing I'm not sure crypto gets is that for a large institution, when something is on a 3 to 12 month time frame, it's a fait accompli, right? At that point, you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's not a project that may or may not happen. It's something that's going to happen. And yeah, if you think of a world where all of BlackRock's ETFs are tokenized and it's fully embracing DeFi and on-chain finance, that's the world we're going to be in a year. And I think it's just absolutely remarkable. But the thing that really caught me was an interview with BlackRock's CFO, Martin Small, right? Not a household name, but obviously a very important person at BlackRock. And he said they plan to tokenize all of their ETFs in the next 3 to 12 months. The thing I'm not sure crypto gets is that for a large institution, when something is on a 3 to 12 month time frame, it's a fait accompli, right? At that point, you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's not a project that may or may not happen. It's something that's going to happen. And yeah, if you think of a world where all of BlackRock's ETFs are tokenized and it's fully embracing DeFi and on-chain finance, That's the world we're going to be in a year. And I think it's just absolutely remarkable. But the thing that really caught me was an interview with BlackRock's CFO, Martin Small, right? Not a household name, but
doing something. If they're saying they're working on it, they're actually working on it, right? They're not talking about it or planning it, they're actually doing it. Somebody said recently the difference in potential and consistency. Potential is you can do it. Consistency is you're doing it and it's getting better. So consistency is stronger than um, potential. So this is important.
Where do you think else?
Wait a minute, let me see. I think just started. Important XRPs making headlines on CNBC. Financial commentators said live on air that he's bullish on XRP, highlighting its growing role in the evolving financial infrastructure. Visa appears to be positioning early, partnering with BitX token on the XRP ledger. And let's go back to this video.
And then you decide to venture out into cryptocurrency, specifically XRP. What was the thinking there?
Well, we had filed for Bitcoin before, and we do have crypto interests, and I'm an XRP enthusiast. And when I saw the opportunity to file and get it approved, and really not holding XRP itself, but holding the derivatives so that we could leverage it and give investors what they want. They clearly want some leverage. We got a great ticker, double XRP, XXRP, and it took off. It was a big hit immediately, right out the door.
And if you could put on a forecasting hat as somebody who looks at the fund flows, looks at the industry, where do you think else in the crypto sphere is ripe for even more activity with regard to cryptocurrencies that's outside the realm of XRP, Ethereum, and of course, Bitcoin?
Honestly, I think picking the next coin is harder than people need to catch the wave of what crypto and the blockchain is doing to business. This really is the internet in the 1990s. I think there's a sea change coming, and picking the companies that are going to use whatever cryptocurrency comes next is going to be the big trick, and the trick, the big wealth.
Do you think that there is going to be an ETF boom in companies in that ecosystem?
No question.
All right.
So as you mentioned, right, once it gets going, it's going to get crazy. This is Jesus Martinez. Wall Street's buying all XRP while you panic. I did a full report into Treasuries ETF accumulation. If you're looking for data, institutions are buying it. Here it is. We'll come back to that. Next blocks, rocks, institution. And I think this is the same video where he said he can't talk about it. Massive news following several billions of acquisitions. Ripple setting up to become the first crypto community that will transform into a national trust bank by integrating Hitting Road, prime brokerage in G Treasury scale. Ripple isn't just a crypto anymore. It's regulated backbone of the new financial systems. Actually, let me go ahead and follow her. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Ripple will get the bank license soon? Or when will that get approved? I thought they got approved last week. Massive RLUSD mint alert. 69 million RSULD just printed. Liquidity is loading. Utility is expanding. Ripple's building something big. Moving forward, 1.4 billion in XRP just moved in the last 24 hours. It's all heading back to escrow. 500 million XRP, 300 million XRP, 200 million XRP. Ripple is locking funds back into escrow. This is bullish. Supply being taken off the market. Boom. XRP investment products continue attracting capital inflows. Around 1.24 billion have flowed into XRP spot ETF since launch. February closed positive inflows of 58 billion. So let's go over here and look. Let me see. What's the next one? Dang it. Why does it always start over? We can go down here. Deutsche Bank is integrating Ripple technology to cut the global payment settlement time from days to seconds. Cross-border payments, FX, and tokenized assets can move instantly, unlocking faster capital flow for institution RWA season. This is James Wells, VP of Central Bank Engagements at Ripple, confirmed central banks will use XRP to settle money from A to B, 10,000 per XRP.
Let me say so on the existing blockchain system. My question is, it's going to be integrated, let me say so, on the existing blockchain, or you guys are thinking about some outstanding system in regards of digital?
Yeah, it's a great question. So basically, the technology that we're creating for the digital lari is a private blockchain, but it's based on the technology used in the public blockchain. So the public blockchain that we use is called the XRP ledger. It's a publicly available open source blockchain technology. And what we do for each country we're working with, we create a new private version. So you can only use the blockchain if you are permissioned to do so. So we've got the advantage of that is the XRP ledger technology is proven. It has been processing billions of transactions. But central banks like to have things a little bit more private. So we have created a private version. So it's a little bit of a hybrid to answer your question.
But definitely it's absolutely independent platform, which is specifically performed for each project where you evaluate.
Yes, yeah, exactly right.
Blockchain system.
So you heard what he said, right? It's already being used for these processing transactions. So again, it's not that they're going to use it, they're already using it. They just haven't come out and said it yet. Brad Gensinghouse says the door to the bank crypto deal is wide open, urging banks to act in good faith as stablecoin yield negotiations continue. And that's what's holding up the Clarity Act. These guys do not want to pay us stablecoin yields on the tokens we already hold. So keeping it moving. This is CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap saying 2.37 trillion, up 3.66% on the day. CoinMarketCap 20 is $142, up 4.11%. Fear and greed is still in extreme greed at 15%. 15. Altcoin season is 34. We're moving away from the Bitcoin dominance. And the average crypto RSI is 54.36. Is getting really close to overbought, which means the prices are going to start going up like crazy. And if you haven't noticed, there's definitely a lot of green in the market today. So for XRP is at $1.40, up 3.14%. Pausing for dramatic effect because I honestly think it should update. Market cap is 85.6 billion, up 3%. 24-hour trading volume is 3.4 billion, down 1.97%. XRP ran hard in late 2024, broke above 3 then flipped into a clear downtrend, now back near $1.30 with lower highs and lower lows are all key SMAs sloping down. Volume hasn't confirmed any real bounce. Let's finish up phase 4. Analysts warn that the geopolitical escalation, like a intensified Iran conflict, could put additional pressure on real assets, including XRP and Solana, as investors seek safe havens. Recent data shows XRP and Solana have already slipped alongside broader market weakness amidst Mid-East tensions, reflecting risk-off sentiment. Traders may see a heightened volatility and deeper drawdowns in these tokens if uncertainty persists and micro markets remain disrupted. So let's look at the thank you, Jamaican and Tech. Appreciate that, fam. So this is XRP terminal. On the XRP terminal, the spot is 12.25. Maybe we can get it up close and personal. What do you think, Jamaican Tech? What we looking like, fam? Let me know something in the comments. Let me see if we can go back to the stage. So this is leverage volume is 17.9. So Bitwise is leading the spots with 3% up to $15.73, 6.46 Milwan. Franklin Templeton is $15.25, up 3.27% to 2 million. Canary Capital is 3.48% up to $14.95 to 9.15 Milwan. Grayscale, which is down, it was in the 30s. It's up 3% today to $27.24. 1.5 million 24-hour trading volume. Rex Offspray is $11.52, up 3.74 to 216 million. 21 shares is up 4.32 to $13.75 with 27,000 and 24-hour trading volume. So Turcom 2X is up 7.3% to $4.28, up 10.8 Milwan in 24-hour trading volume. Volatility shares 7.20 up $45. What? $45.80 with 3.34 million 24-hour trading volume. I might need to get into leverage trading, bro. Pro shares is up 7.65 to $4.22. 1.9 million 24-hour trading volume. Volatility shares is 3.75% up to $7.97. 1.68 million. Amplify is 14.89 up 2.35 to 156K. So definitely moving in the right direction. For the XRP radar, total supply is 100 billion. In escrow is 36.9. Circular supply is 60 billion. Burnt is 14.3 Milwan. RLUSD is 5.6 billion. And stable coins exchange is 14.25 billion. So the exchange number definitely went up. ETFs and index is also up to 795.8 Milwan. DeFi and AMM is 215.5 mil won. Tokenized RWA is 1.58 billion USD, and the treasury is 473.3 mil won. So if we go down to the exchanges, Upbit added 3.3 million. So they still have 38.1% of the total supply on the exchanges. Binance is unchanged at 16.4%. BitThumb is up 4.4 million to 12.7. Upholds unchanged, still at 11.6. BitBank is down 439,000 to 4%. Coincheck's down 476,000 to 3.9. eToro is down 83,000 to 3.4. Crypto.com is down 5.3 million. Say what? Say word. Down 5.3. Wow, Crypto.com. 2.3%. Coin one is up 694. 649, tripping. 2.2, and Bitflyers up 5,000 to 1.3. So this is the ledger for XRP or XRPL. Distributed asset value is 461.1 mil won. RWA count is 213. Represented asset value is 1.5 billion. Stablecoins is 339.4 million, up 1.29%. RWA holders is 22, up 4.6 on the month. Stablecoins are 38.8 thousand, up 3.08 on the month. RWA 30-day supply is 149.9 million, up 1,382% on the month. Say it ain't so. Say word. Telling you, fam, it's going on. It's up 1,382. Show me anything that's up 1,300% on the month. Stable coins 30-day transfer rate is 1.19 billion, up 17.58. You can see here, that's weird. RLUSD is down 1.69 on the month. Let me pause this real quick. Ondo is up 292% on the XRP ledger. CRX is unchanged. Zacconi is also unchanged. Braza Crypto is up 20% on the month. Just looking over some of these, trying to see what is going on. And these are the actual products. So Ondo is the treasury. RLUSD is the stable coin, commodity, private credit, treasury stable coin, USDB. Never heard of that guy either, but keeping it moving. This is BlackRock's about to do something crazy with the XRP. And this is main man Crypto Sensei. Let's see what he has to say real quick.
We are in the final phase of adoption here. We're talking about $5.5 trillion worth of assets for one company happening here in the next year. I also am going to explore what role XRP will play in all this, as well as give you some additional context on other blockchains that will be key pieces of infrastructure in the days ahead. We are recording on Sunday. This was too juicy to not put something together. So if you get any value from this, please support it with a like and let me know what you think about all this. I'm going to give it to you straight. Let's start here.
But the thing that really caught me was an interview with BlackRock's CFO, Martin Small, right? Not a household name, but obviously a very important person at BlackRock. And he said they plan to tokenize all of their ETFs in the next 3 to 12 months.
There it is.
The thing I'm not sure crypto gets is that for a large institution, when something is on a 3 to 12 month time frame, it's a fait accompli, right? At that point, you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's not a project that may or may not happen. It's something that's going to happen. And yeah, if you think of a world where all of BlackRock's ETFs are tokenized and it's fully embracing DeFi and on-chain finance, that's the world we're going to be in a year. And I think it's just absolutely remarkable. The thing that really...
This is incredibly beautiful. I get emotional when I hear this stuff because for years, I have been telling myself the same thing. It's coming. I believe it. They are going to tokenize everything. And this just confirms we've been right this whole time. Our conviction, our vision of what the future would look like is playing out like we thought it was going to. The song that keeps getting played in my head is "It's the Final Countdown." We're here. It's happening. This is the final countdown to tokenize all of it, right? Let me get into this. The screenshot is amplifying the real BlackRock tokenization push, but all ETFs in 3 to 12 months line is oversimplification of what's actually being said and reported. BlackRock has publicly confirmed plans to tokenize its iShares products, ETF products, so they can be held and traded via digital wallets. Larry Fink has reportedly talked about the beginning of all tokenization of all assets. And it said that every financial asset can be tokenized over time. Reporting of late 2025 describes BlackRock exploring or seeking to tokenize ETFs with the emphasis on long-term investment products like iShares and tokenize versions of existing funds, not an instant flip of the entire lineup. Now, the 3 to 12 months in the coverage piece, BlackRock's CFO Martin Small said that they could not say whether the tokenization process would be completed in 90 days or 12 months, highlighting the uncertainty from a rollout deadline. So it's between 90 days and 12 months. Crypto and fintech commentators have turned this into a punchy line, which we are talking about here. How far are they actually? BlackRock already runs a tokenized money market fund, Buildable, and has grown in the past to $1 billion mark using the proof of concept for real-world assets on chain. The firm is active in discussions with regulators from the SEC and exchanges about tokenizing flagship iShares ETFs and integrating them into digital wallets, but executives frame this as a multi-year infrastructure shift. Now, how XRP comes in. Tokenized ETF shares would enable 24/7 trading, fractionalization, and use of traditional ETFs and on-chain collateral, effectively merging TradeFi and products in DeFi tooling. BlackRock's thematic materials and several analysis highlight Ethereum as a likely initial beneficiary, but the broader narrative is not a single blockchain. All right, I didn't want to show you this. BlackRock's ETF arm, iShares, right? They're talking about tokenizing iShares is 5.5 trillion, 5 to 5.5 trillion ETFs. iShares globally is reported to 5.2 to 5.5 trillion, and this is of late 2025, around 1,700 ETFs. So that is what we're talking about to be tokenized here. In the US specifically, iShares manages about 3.6 trillion of ETF assets, roughly 30% of the US ETF market. All right. And then US ETF industry has about 12.2 trillion, which is iShares, Vanguard, State Street. Together, they control 72% of the market. Now, Vanguard, State Street, projects that we've heard before. We haven't heard too many plans about Vanguard tokenizing their ETFs, but we know State Street has been working with companies like Ripple for quite some time. And I'd imagine you're going to get some announcements here very soon. If BlackRock moves aggressively to tokenize shares, and it works, better liquidity, 24/7 access, and collateral use, it creates competitive pressure on Vanguard, State Street, Fidelity, and Vesco, but there's no automatic flip the whole market mandate. So if BlackRock is now offering this, and they are going to have all of these additional benefits of the 24/7, better liquidity, collateral management, all of these things, it puts every other competitor at a disadvantage. So what do the competitors have to do? Well, they need access to the same technology, and that's what they've been working on behind the scenes for quite some time. So this really is the biggest asset manager on the planet, pushing forward with tokenization, right? It's Sunday, work with me, and it's going to force the rest of the industry to follow. If not, they're already with them side by side. All right, and then this is just showing you kind of where some of the value is. Vanguard's 3.5 trillion, State Street's 1.7 trillion. And then others like Fidelity, Schwab, Invesco have about 3.4 trillion. All right. Even if a fraction of the 12 trillion ends up represented on chain in tokens in the first wave, let's say 5 to 20%, you're still talking about hundreds of billions or a few trillion in tokenized TradeFi collateral that needs FX, cross-border settlement, and institutional grade liquidity, right? We know that Ripple is the plumbing, right? The XRP ledger is the plumbing and infrastructure for the new financial system. We know that financial institutions can go and say, Ripple, we want to use your messaging. Ripple, we want to use XRP for XYZ. Ripple, we want to use RLUSD, right? And that's what's been being built and put through and created over the last 12 to 13 years. Every time you see a partnership announcement where we do a video, we talk about it, right? It's one switch that's getting flipped on. And we've gone through years of flipping on switches, right? Brad Garlinghouse just said this at the Wave of Innovation event in Australia. When you get hundreds or thousands of switches flipped, now you're talking about a movement, and we're almost there. And take a look at this. BlackRock, Asia is an opportunity for blockchain. According to Susan Chan, BlackRock's head of APAC, speaking at Consensus, if Asian investors allocate just 1% of their estimated 108 trillion in household wealth to digital assets, it can inject nearly 2 trillion in new capital into the blockchain space. Just 1%. You imagine that some people will be like 1%, maybe like 5 or 10%. It'll be a whole lot of money, right? You're talking about trillions of new inflows into the crypto space over the next few years. And this is really what's going to, explode this industry. Not all cryptocurrencies and companies in the blockchain space are created equally, though, right? So some are going to, have huge price appreciation, and some are just going to die and go nowhere because they really didn't have the connections, the team, the community, the runway, the infrastructure, the technology, the people to get to where, your Solanas, your XRPs, your Chainlinks are, right? All right. XRP is already popular in Asia and especially Japan and South Korea, where Evernorth has been investing considerable time and resources. There's a few other things here. Here's the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink. He confirms it. This was at the World Economic Forum just like last month.
I think the movement towards tokenization, decimalization is necessary. It's ironic that we see two emerging countries leading the world in decimalization, in the tokenization and digitization of their currency. That's Brazil and India. I think we need to move very rapidly to doing that. We would be reducing fees. We would do more democratization by reducing more fees if we had all investments on a tokenized platform that you could move from a tokenized money market fund to equities and bonds and back and forth. We have one common blockchain. We will, we can reduce corruption. So I would argue that yes, we have more dependencies on maybe one blockchain, which we could all talk about. But that being said, the activities are probably processed and more secure than ever before.
All right. Let me play a little bit more for you here. I did ask Stephen McClurg of Canary Capital, when will BlackRock come in and support an XRP or Solana ETF? And his answer was pretty surprising. How do we get HBAR and XRP, in these products? How do we get them to the Ethereum or even the Bitcoin levels of investment from institutions? Like, how does BlackRock wake up one day and say, it's time for a spot XRP ETF or a spot HBAR ETF? Like, what do we need to do to get there?
I actually think it's really close. It wouldn't surprise me if BlackRock files for a XRP, potentially Solana ETF sometime the end of 2026 or 2027. I mean, you've already got Fidelity, you've already got Franklin Templeton in the race there. So it's not going to be a whole lot longer before, BlackRock also looks at this. I mean, Invesco just filed for a Solana ETF. Give it time. XRP will be there as well. And these are the largest ETF providers out there. So I think it has to do with a few functions. They want to see demand. They want to see high market cap. And it'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I tell my audience that, the reason they launched a Bitcoin product is because they had enough people on their website searching for a Bitcoin product, right? And I think once you get that, like I tell people, if you have an institutional account anywhere and they don't have the products that you want, you have the power to pick up the phone and let your financial advisor know that this is what you're interested in. I think that will help maybe move the needle. All right, let's keep it going. And then Morgan Stanley applied for a national trust bank charter to custody crypto and expand digital asset services. Why the OCC trust charter actually does. So like I was asking, they already have some of these licenses. Why did they get, why did they apply for an OCC national trust charter? They already have a broker dealer and traditional bank license, but an OCC national trust charter gives them a different, cleaner regulatory lane specifically for digital asset custody. So that's really interesting to see now financial institutions, long-standing, Morgan Stanley applying for OCC charter. It lets an entity act as a federally regulated trust bank that can safekeep assets, act as a trustee, and provide fiduciary services without being a full deposit-taking lending bank. Under recent OCC guidance, that now explicitly includes custody of crypto, staking on a fiduciary basis, and handling blockchain transaction flows at core businesses. So if you want to provide staking to your customers and they're going to be staking through your platform, you need an OCC charter to do that, right? Staking on a fiduciary basis, on a customer basis. Why big firms don't just use existing licenses? Their existing entities, broker dealers, investment advisor, insured bank sit under different regulators and rules, SEC, FINRA, FDIC, where the crypto perimeter is still fuzzy and often restricted. A new OCC trust subsidiary can be ring fenced for digital assets, with its own capital risk and compliance framework, which makes regulators more comfortable and simplifies supervision. And then you also have this big announcement here from Franklin Templeton. The adoption of digital wallets is happening faster than the adoption of the internet.
The two large camps on planet Earth that we see at Franklin Templeton: those that have digital wallets and are adopting them. And by the way, we know that digital wallet adoption is running faster than adoption of the internet, even 25 or 30 years ago. And then you have the want wallet community. So we already know that there's hundreds and hundreds of millions of digital wallets, but they tend to be held by individuals on these platforms like, Binance or Coinbase or Kraken, where the case may be. And so they're the ones that have the digital wallet. So the question is really about the proliferation of digital wallets into the institutional community. Absolutely, there's demand for RWA. There's absolutely demand for tokenized money funds like Benji. And we're seeing that and we're living that every day.
Listen, guys, if you've made it this far, please support the channel with a like. If you have a question or comment about any of this, please let me know down below. Now, Paul Barron interviewed Sal Galberti. And Sal, he was one that he works for Tokenize, CEO of Tokenize. They put out an XRP 2x leverage ETF. And he asked him about Ripple competing with JP Morgan. And I think this is kind of where we're heading with all of this.
They are building literally a I've said it before, a JP Morgan rival. Once they get their banking license, they're going to be incredibly well capitalized. Why would they want to sell XRP? They're going to want to hold on to that. As it goes up in value, they can sell some, clearly, sure. I just think that Ripple is a machine. It is a highly disciplined team that is, they don't all have to agree on things, and some of them leave to go here or go there. They sure all leave and go somewhere related. So whether it's a master plan, or more likely it's really creative people that work as a team, and they all have different paths that their lives take them on, but they stay in the ecosystem and they're creating a bigger ecosystem, a more robust ecosystem. I just think Ripple is at the center of the universe. And so Brad says XRP, he's being modest with Ripple.
All right. A few other things I want to show you before I let you out of here. JP Morgan Exhibit 3, unlocking 120 billion value in cross-border payments. This is from JP Morgan, not a file, but a presentation they put together. It talks about CLS, SWIFT, and Finality, and how Ripple can help solve some of this low-cost instant transfer. And this is a huge, huge total addressable market. And JP Morgan also says the Clarity Act could be a catalyst that crypto needs, with a clear regulatory framework, potentially unlocking institutional capital and driving a significant upside move in quarter two or half two of 2026. So quarter three, quarter four. All right, I'm going to leave it there with you guys because I just wanted to get this news out, but this is a big deal. And I don't see many channels talking about this, right? And it's good that we understand where this is all heading, and we are prepared. We are ready, right? Let's have it happen now. And this is really going to put the rest of the world on notice that this is in fact happening. You better get on board or you're going to get left behind. All right. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. All right. I'll leave it there. Bye.
Look with entering Q2, Clarity Act time. BlackRock, they just revealed plans that could completely reshape how assets move, and almost nobody connected it to XRP. Most investors, they're still staring at the price chart, but institutions, they are building infrastructure, because when the largest asset manager on earth, BlackRock, says it plans to tokenize every ETF within the next 3 to 12 months, that's not innovation. That is positioning. And when you combine that with what's happening around XRP, Bitwise, Ripple, and even Washington, the picture changes fast. This isn't about hype. It's about structure. And 5 trillion, it doesn't move without a reason. Let's jump right into it. Here's the clip. BlackRock, tokenization, all ETFs within the next 3 to 12 months. Not some of them, all of them. We're talking stocks, bonds, funds wrapped into blockchain-based infrastructure. Tokenized ETFs will turn your traditional markets into programmable, transferable digital assets. Now think about what XRP was built for. Cross-border settlement, liquidity routing, institutional grade payment rails. If traditional assets are moving on chain, they are going to need interoperability. They need liquidity corridors. They need settlement speed. That is exactly the infrastructure XRP was designed for, not Bitcoin, not Ethereum. Now, BlackRock isn't loading XRP publicly. They're building the environment where assets like XRP become necessary. And that's the key difference here. They're not chasing price. They're building rails. Listen to this clip. This is absolutely amazing.
But the thing that really caught me was an interview with BlackRock's CFO, Martin Small, right? Not a household name, but obviously a very important person at BlackRock. And he said they plan to tokenize all of their ETFs in the next 3 to 12 months. The thing I'm not sure crypto gets is that for a large institution, when something is on a 3 to 12 month time frame, it's a fait accompli, right? At that point, you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's not a project that may or may not happen. It's something that's going to happen. And yeah, if you think of a world where all of BlackRock's ETFs are tokenized and it's fully embracing DeFi and on-chain finance, that's the world we're going to be in a year. And I think it's just absolutely remarkable. But the thing that really caught me,
3 to 12 months, it's going to be here faster than you think. But look, BlackRock isn't the only signal here, because the moat that's forming around crypto, it is getting very real. Let's talk about BlackRock and their ETFs. Largest ETF issuer out there, iShares, probably heard the name iBit before. Roughly 50 to 70 billion assets under management, depending on your market conditions. And they hold around 750 to 780,000 Bitcoin. You got an Ethereum ETF as well. I mean, they are just stacking away. And if you really think that BlackRock just stops at Bitcoin and Ethereum, folks, I got something coming for you, because that's not how this is going to play out. Then we get over to Bitwise. Remember, Bitwise, the second largest XRP ETF issuer. They just made a statement that most people, they just brushed off. Circle and Coinbase were gifted a massive moat. Hostile regulations, it kept competitors out for years. XRP, Ripple. It also stopped your Schwab, your Fidelity. No E-Trade equivalent in crypto custody and infrastructure. None of that was random. They created incumbents, and Bitwise, they sit right inside that ecosystem. Here's what most people don't realize. Bitwise, second largest XRP ETF holder, over 190.
Wait a minute. He said Bitwise is the second largest holder? That's weird because I thought it was Canary Capital or well, Canary Capital's number one. So I thought it was Franklin Templeton or Grayscale. That's weird. It's actually Bitwise. That's interesting. Let me know if you guys knew that in the comments. That's kind of I gotta find this site too. What is he using to look at this? What is this? Where did he find that information?
ETF holder, over 190.2 million XRP locked up. Folks, that's not trading supply. We call that removed liquidity. Bitwise manages billions in crypto assets across multiple ETFs. They're not here speculating. They are structuring their exposure. And when firms like Bitwise accumulate XRP at the scale that they are, this isn't about short-term volatility. This is about long-term positioning in infrastructure assets. Now, I want you to combine what they're doing with regulations opening up instead of closing down. That is when that moat becomes a launch pad. Now, listen to this clip.
Or should they look outside of that?
So it's a dominant player. I have this thesis on equities like Circle and Coinbase, which is they have this unique advantage that the regulatory environment was so hostile that the period where natural competitors would build up in their markets never happened. So there's no reason that Coinbase should have the market share it has. The reason it has the market share it has is well-funded competitors were hard to come by. You had Kraken, which is doing exceptional.
Just trying to check something real quick. This is the same site. That's weird. Oh, that's weird. So this is the dash. This is the radar. Insights radar. XRP. Oh, this part. So it's this guy. Oh, okay. So it's this guy. So this is the actual homepage that he saw that on. And this is the locked locked ETF vault. And this is Canary Capital number 1, Bitwise number 2. And is it going down? What's that weird? Franklin Templeton number 3 and Grayscale number 5. Rex Allspray number 6. Really interesting. But yeah, it's the same site. I'm tripping. I thought it was a different site, but this is the dashboard and this is the home page. You got to remember to look at the home page. So let's go back to Ripple or Bullwinkle Blueprint.
Exceptionally well now and gaining share, but it has a far larger position than it should. Right? It should have been like the brokerage market where there was Schwab and Fidelity and Interactive Brokers and E-Trade and all these other people competing for share. And that didn't happen for Coinbase, and it didn't happen in stablecoins for Circle. So it has a lead that is bigger than it should. And I suspect it's going to be able to sustain a big chunk of that lead even as other competitors come into the market. So yeah, I think it has this embedded regulatory moat that it shouldn't have, but it does, and it's pressing that advantage, and it looks like it's going to stay ahead to me.
There you go. So when that moat becomes a launch pad, and then in the background, we got Brad Garlinghouse, who's dropping another signal to us. Because Brad just said that the bank crypto talks, they're gaining serious momentum. Active negotiations still going on. As you see the rumors pick up, Clarity Act is dead, it's not going to happen. from people who have nothing to do with this meeting, who don't sit inside these meetings. Brad's been there. Stuart Alvaradi still attending. They know what's going on. If that was the case, that the Clarity Act was dying down, Brad wouldn't publicly come out and make these comments. He specifically mentioned stablecoin yield models and economic frameworks between your traditional banks and crypto firms. That's not retail adoption. That is regulated financial institutions sitting at the table. Banks do not experiment publicly. I think we all know that. I think we all know that they prepare quietly. For years, regulatory uncertainty slowed collaboration. Now that tone, it's shifted, and it's shifted in a massive way. Financial institutions are being urged to engage in good faith. The door isn't just open here. The door is being held open. And when banks integrate crypto rails, they don't pick memes. They pick compliance-ready infrastructure. Excuse me, I had a sneeze. XRP sits directly in that category. How many other cryptocurrencies do you know have compliance-ready infrastructure that have been through years of battle with the regulators? Not many. Not many at all. Only one, because Bitcoin and Ethereum both got free passes. But the regulatory shift, this might be the biggest signal of it all, because Washington, they just changed their temperature. That's right. Treasury Secretary Besnett, he declared that the administration is removing regulatory barriers against Bitcoin and crypto. Yes, against Bitcoin and crypto. Removing the barriers. For years, as long as I've been here, almost a decade, friction created stagnation. Now the language, it is pro-infrastructure. When regulations shift from restrictive to enabling, capital flows differently. Institutions don't move aggressively into legal gray zones. They move when the framework is stable. That's when real capital enters. And that's when tokenization, ETFs, bank partnerships, and liquidity networks, they converge. But there's one more layer here that people are still missing. We're talking about this. Look at Amazon after the dot-com crash, and I'll blow this up for you. Patient holders who understood infrastructure, what happened? Look at Amazon. They won long term. Amazon didn't explode because of hype. It built logistics, cloud, distribution, and fulfillment. Structure first. What happened to price after? It followed. Now I want you to compare Amazon's exact playbook to XRP. Cross-border payments, liquidity corridors, institutional rails, regulatory clarity emerging. Tokenized assets starting to come online. If tokenized ETFs, bank crypto integration, and regulatory easing continue aligning, this becomes less about speculation and more about financial plumbing. Markets reward plumbing once it's indispensable. We all know that. And that shift, it doesn't happen loudly. It happens structurally. And by the time retail sees it clearly, hey, your positioning phase, it's already over. Look, this isn't about whether XRP pumps tomorrow. It's about whether the financial system is quietly restructuring around blockchain infrastructure. BlackRock is tokenizing assets. Bitwise is locking supply. Banks are negotiating partnerships. Regulation is finally softening. That's not chaos, everyone. That is alignment. Infrastructure always gets built before mass adoption. And infrastructure, it doesn't move based on hype. It moves based on necessity. The market may still be debating narratives here, but the system is building pathways. The signal's already there. Most people just haven't connected it yet. And I hope this video helped you connect it. XRP is going to have the same breakout that Amazon did. Price always comes last. I always stress that. You got this. We got this. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see all y'all on the next one.
So shout out to Bull Winkle Blueprint. Let's check out Moneymaker real quick. Trying to figure out. Let's check out the Moneymaker real quick, and then we'll shut it down for the day.
Holy smoky city.
And what is this? This is Everton. Most don't know that Ripple is selling private copies of the XRPL to institutions. This guarantees they will utilize the XRP as the basis, no matter the token, on their private XRPL. Popcorn yellow smile. Don't know that Ripple is selling private copies of the XRPL to institutions. That's actually, yeah, I didn't know that either. Everton B, but that makes sense, right? But like I was telling you guys, to get it out, sometimes you might have to sell, right? You might have to sell it pretty cheap just to make sure people adopt it and use it. But I look at it more as an investment versus selling it in the process, right? You would push it out so these guys can pick it up, start using it, start playing with it. And once you get it out, right, people start getting used to it and it goes from there. But let's see what Ali's talking about. And thanks for that update, Everton.
Ain't no jokes. The markets did not collapse here Monday morning. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom. Moneymakers, all the fear mongering that was going on over the weekend so far, right? Maybe, in a few hours, things will change. We know Monday morning can be very dynamic, but for the most part, oil pumped a little bit. Crypto markets, for the most part, are flat. Pre-market or overnight trading futures are down a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And now the question is, what's going to happen from here? We'll look at the week. We'll look at some things that happened during the night. But the most important thing before anything is my daily sleep update. A lot of you are in the comment section. Avi, I hope you get a good night's sleep. So your wish has come true, because the wife and I, we were like, okay, let's go to bed. It's 11, right? Probably in an hour or two, there's going to be a siren. There's going to be some missiles. And then suddenly I woke up and it was 5:30 in the morning. And my son, my youngest son, walked in. He's like congested, and so he woke up. And I was like, "What? No sirens." We waited about an hour or so. At 7 in the morning was the first siren, but that was like a whole night's sleep. So, right, knock on wood. Let's hope we get more nights like that. Some of you are like, "Avi, you look tired." It's just I have sometimes. I need to put some eye cream. Right, I'm getting to almost 40. I need to. I told my wife I need to start a skincare routine, and she's like, "You're too old already." That's it. Yeah. But if we go and we look at the markets right now, we have XRP sitting at $1.34, down 0.35% on the day. We kind of stopped here in the zone. So it seems that the support level, resistance level at 134 for XRP isn't as heavy as thought. So, we're not seeing this be, a stone-like wall where we saw the 143 and the it's too small. I need my magnifying glass. 127. That XRP did stop here and here, right? So we have these 2 points. As you can see, XRP got supported and rejected right there. And this middle line, you can see even before, it wasn't a wall, right? So that's what we're seeing now. Also, this was the white line here also was a support zone, but not a strong support area for Bitcoin. And it kind of came down together. Also, the 2000 level
for Ethereum isn't that strong of a resistance level as we've seen before. So right now, this is the situation that we are seeing. And silver, gold did pop this morning. So you can see over the past few hours, it is on the rise. Oil also opened up with a pop. So it opened up all the way up to 75. People are talking about the possibility, if there's a prolonged conflict, if the Strait of Hormuz does get blocked, which I don't think will happen for a long period of time, then people are predicting that oil will pop to $100. Can it happen? Maybe. Will it happen? Maybe. Probably not. I don't think the US will let that happen for a long period of time. Also, there are mechanisms in place. They can release more from reserves and all kinds of things like that. OPEC has a way to manipulate the price and prevent it from spiking too high. They don't want it to spike too high, and they don't want it to go too low. So that could be a possibility. Futures are open, but pre-market is not open. There is overnight trading, like 24-hour trading, and stocks are down. But we know that Monday morning, especially these low liquidity overnight trading, can be manipulated by bots. And we'll see once pre-market opens, once real trading opens this morning in the US, how the markets react and how does crypto react with it. We've seen many times that if the crypto market, might be okay early in the morning, and then we have the manipulations that sometimes come out once the stock market opens up. So again, we'll be a little bit more smarter on that point, later in the day, and we'll see how the crypto market will react when the stock market opens up at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And then we'll be a little bit more smarter, just from the aspect of, is this going to be a quote unquote Black Monday, right? Some were predicting this over the weekend and saying, oh, there's going to be a fear mongering, and maybe not, right? I don't know. I've experienced a lot of these kinds of situations. And many times, especially if it happens over the weekend, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of, people that maybe open a short position prior to the weekend and are tweeting out some things. And then it ends up being a big nothing burger. Again, this was a situation where it wasn't a surprise. I can maybe hear my son in the background screaming. I think he said, goal. When you have a situation where no school still, by the way, it was supposed to be vacation tomorrow for Purim, but yesterday and today there was no school. But anyway, when there's a situation where it's a surprise, right? So suddenly, out of nowhere, something happens, like the 100% tariff on China that Trump suddenly pulled out of his rear pocket. When that happens, the market reacts extremely. It goes like, whoa, 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 whoa. And the algos start triggering and sell-offs, liquidations, because remember, a lot of people were long, heavy leverage longed when that happened. Right now, we're already down, especially in the crypto market, a very nice amount. There's not a lot of longs right now. And this was something that was building weeks and weeks. We were talking about this and we were dissecting it, and it happened. Right. But it wasn't a surprise. This was something we already knew on Friday, that there was a very high probability that was going to happen. And the stock market kind of sold off after that announcement, if you remember. So I don't know what's going to happen. Again, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. I was not fear mongering. I told you the markets, I can get concerned when there's explosions above your head. Then you can have a little bit of fear, right? Yesterday there was a bad situation where a rocket fell exactly on a bomb shelter, and there's a lot of people there, and a big amount of people. So I lost my brain switched to Hebrew for a second. So we have to be careful. They said that the probability of a missile hitting your bomb shelter is very, 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 very low. But if it does happen, the bomb shelter, if it's a direct hit, it can withhold a ballistic missile. But I've seen videos of people that were in buildings that were in their bomb shelter, and
so yes, Everton. XRP is the ODA on-demand liquidity for large transactions on the public ledger, and you are correct. That's why we suspect the price will go up, because it will cost too much to send it at its current price. So the price would have to go up if you're moving millions and billions of dollars. $2 a token would not be feasible. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. No institutional wants to hold another institutional stablecoin. Too much fear and depegging. That's where XRP comes in for the conversation. Safely converting the value. Yes, that makes sense, because you need a intermediary token, and XRP would be perfect for the RLUSD. Let's get back to the video.
it hit the building, but not directly on the bomb shelter. And the whole apartment was like destroyed, but the bomb shelter was okay. So that's where we go when the sirens happen. Again, if there's a siren, I'll stop the video and I'll go. So far, there hasn't been an alert on the phone, so we get like a few minutes before, so we can get to a safe zone. But hopefully, it will be a quiet day, and I can go out with the kids, maybe play some basketball. They're going a little bit cooped up in the house. So we'll see what happens. Again, this morning hasn't been too crazy, but there could still be a volatile week. Okay. And remember, there's still the ISM manufacturing PMI data that's coming out. So we'll see if that has any effect on the market. Again, during this week, we talked about this last night. We have employment data, jobless claims, retail sales, February job reports on Friday. Could potentially have a update on the Clarity Act. Again, has kind of been pushed to the side a little bit here because what's fueling the market and what's moving the market right now is the Israel, USA, Iran conflict. I guess you could say also UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait conflict, right? Qatar. I heard France might be joining the party. There was an attack on Cyprus. Maybe the Brits, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. It's funny because there's no, like, when you have a world conflict, there's other sides. Right now, Iran is kind of isolated. Like, okay, maybe Russia, maybe China, but remember, they are, Russia has its own issues. China, I don't know if they want to join the party. So it looks like this might be over very, very fast. Trump last night said that possibly it could be a month, right? Hopefully that doesn't happen, right? That was something that he said last night. He said, according to the Daily Mail, he said it could last for 4 weeks. We'll see. Maybe that will happen. Maybe that won't. Right now, I see this funny that, Poly Market, which is, the prediction site, is giving breaking news saying that Iran now saying it will not negotiate. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Again, right now, price action is acting like it's not the worst thing in the world for crypto right now. We'll see again what the stock market does later today. This was interesting. The market had its 6th red month, and February says here 5 months of losses, but I count March. Okay, 5 months of losses. It's also the first time both January and February finish red back to back. If March closes red too, it would be just the second time ever in Bitcoin's history where there was a run like that with 6 months, right? After those 6 months, by the way, in 2019, there was a 5-month run up following. So maybe one more month of hardship and then a nice run. Maybe again, we'll see how the next coming days, the next coming weeks play out. But that's an interesting situation that developed. Also, we have the course that the market structure bill with JP Morgan. This continues to pop up on the timeline. JP Morgan famously was anti-crypto. It seems that they might be flipping over, might be being more positive on the crypto market. So again, Brad is very, very positive on the market structure bill. We'll see how it moves through Congress this week. If it's high priority, I know that President Trump was like, hey, I want you guys to get this done, but maybe, he's at war right now. So maybe the market structure bill isn't at his highest priority, but he has people in his administration that I think, the crypto czar and his team, David Sachs, they have their priorities. And so they're going to be pushing to take care of this. And so we'll see again if this happens and how it happens in the next coming weeks. The talk is second half of the year, maybe by the end of March. We'll see. We'll see. Again, the fact is that the market is dynamic and the market has been hit down significantly over the past few months. And there are some people out there that say, okay, we are in for a little bit of a run up. And then the question is, for example, if we do have momentum and let's say we run up to 226, right? Are you happy with 226 or are you looking for, back to 366? Or are you looking for, we talked last night about the Jay Claver's domino effect theory and the triple digits potentially for XRP. Is that what you're still waiting for? Or are you looking at the market and saying, okay, if XRP does, 100% move here and gets back to 260, 260 in the next 2-3 months? Are you happy with that? And then the question is for yourself, if you're not happy with that, what are your goals short-term, medium-term, long-term? And then again, if you're not happy with 100% returns in a month or few months time frame, then there's always tools that can allow you to get higher returns. For example, leverage. But again, you have to be very careful with the leverage. Because we've seen in the past, just last night, where you had that huge whale that had that leverage position that we talked about. Where is it? I have it in my notes here, that opened up a long position and then got liquidated very, very fast.
Yeah, so I would say I wouldn't mess with the leverage, right? Everybody I know says they got wrecked using leverage. So unless you know exactly what you're doing, I would definitely advise you guys to stay away from leveraging. Even the people I know that leverage trade say it's very risky. So it just depends, but definitely do your research before getting involved. It's kind of like playing options, but or investing in options. But options by itself is very volatile, and options is on stocks, right? Versus crypto is way more volatile than stock. So if you are looking to do it, make sure you do your research. It's not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. But make sure you know what you're doing before you start getting into it. Every people I know that talked about it all said they lost money in it. So just an FYI there. I just want to help you guys out so you don't get in and lose your money. But as always, it's your main man BTM signing off. I don't want to hold you guys, but I guess I'll do these last 3 minutes and then we'll log off.
For 42 million long on Bitcoin there. So again, it can be very, very, that's not what I wanted. Where is it here? It can be very, very, very beneficial leverage, but we've seen again, it can flip and you can see a very fast liquidation when you're using 40x, 50x, and those kinds of high leverages. So just be careful. Yes, it can be very beneficial if you catch the movement, but if it suddenly flips on you, you can get liquidated very, very fast. So just be careful. Okay. This continues to be very interesting that there's a surge on BitTrue, and they keep tweeting about it. I have no affiliate with them. They're not one of our partners here on the channel. But you can see here, they keep tweeting about XRP. Very interesting. It's saying that there's a surge in their XRP purchase volumes, outpacing the sell side by more than 2x. The surge coincides with silent accumulation period that XRP has been going on institutional investors since the launch of the XRP ETFs. XRP has attracted a net of total of 1.1 billion assets while recording positive total inflows every week and negative outflows on only 5 days in total. I wonder, is it they're only tweeting about XRP? You can see they're tweeting a lot about XRP. I was interested because are they tweeting about other stuff? But no, they're tweeting almost only about XRP. So this is, interesting that is happening. They do have also Bitcoin and other things, but you can see mainly XRP. And they have 425,000 followers on X. So again, that is a platform. So that's interesting. Again, they're not one of our partners. I just found it interesting that they're now that I look at it, I see that they're mainly XRP and Bitcoin. So it makes sense, right? We'll see how potentially this day plays out. Again, it's a tricky day when you have a weekend like this to see how the market opens up into Monday. Let's start I don't want to, let's say a poll in the comment section. What do you think is going to happen this morning? Are we going to see markets initially sell off, and then once it opens, suddenly there's a recovery and we see a very green day for the markets here? Or is there's going to be like some panic selling and the market turns red very, very fast here this morning? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more XRP and crypto news, daily updates, so you don't miss out. We talk about
So thanks for joining. Everton, leverage trading is not for the faint of heart nor novice playing with bread because they'll lose it. And you're right. Just want to emphasize that if you don't know what you're doing, don't mess with the leverage trading. These guys say they lose, either make big or lose big. And I want you guys losing big, trying to figure leverages out, right? Understand it, practice it, go over it before putting a lot of money and losing it on your leverage. So shout out to Everton and shout out to Crypto Sensei. So thanks for joining, guys. And as always, let's get back to the money and stay dangerous. It's your main man, BTM, signing out. Miners out. And we might be back later this evening for a Zebek or ZBCN update. But things are getting crazy busy. So I'm trying to squeeze another live stream in this evening. But thanks for joining. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, your main man BTM signing out. Miner out.